All right, everybody, here we go. Here's another foreclosure case study that represents sometimes things don't just work out the way you plan. Your plan A doesn't work. So normally when I buy a foreclosure, I buy it with the idea of flipping it and trying to get out. So the most important thing to me still is, buy it at the right price. So in this particular property, 407 Crest Street in Fountain, you can see that again, it was a small place. It was a three-bedroom, one bath. That's why you need to go see these things. Built in 1964. The neighborhood itself was really close to Fort Carson. Wasn't in the best neighborhood. There were a lot of mobile homes around there, as well as mixed in with single family. On certain streets were mobile homes, certain streets were single family residences, and it just wasn't the nicest area. But like I said, if you buy it at the right price, that doesn't matter. I mean, a dollar's a dollar. So in this particular you can see that we bought it. Let's go to the trustee. Rocky Mountain Metropolitan won the bid. The essentials of this whole thing in this one itself were that the bid opened at $67,861. You can see that we won the bid at $79,000. And back at the time we were looking at this, actually the price hasn't changed that much. It was probably worth actually a little more, 120,000 or so is what we thought we might be able to get for it. So based on those things that had potential, we thought we'd go look at it. Then we ran our analysis. Oh, and I was wrong. No, I think we had it down at 125. We thought we might be able to sell it for back then. So you can see that for this particular property, we had set out an arbitrary amount of time and what we thought we were going to sell it for, but things didn't work out that way. And so what really happened in this property is I knocked on the door, um, and young lady answered the door, and she had a brand new baby, month old, let's say, and another little boy that was 1 or 2 years old behind her. The house, what I immediately noticed as soon as she opened the door, it was smelled great. It was very clean. Carpets were brand new. And she really showed some pride of ownership for a neighborhood that normally you wouldn't expect that. And then I found out that her husband was stationed at Fort Carson, and he was deployed in Afghanistan. And so he had set up an allotment. Um, and unfortunately, this owner here wasn't paying the mortgage. So she had set up an allotment, they had put a down payment, sent it to a management company, and they were regularly getting rent. And Mr. Hart here wasn't paying the mortgage, which is rent skimming again. So it was kind of disappointing. And so by the time I went through, she let me walk through the place and see it all because she was so nervous about what was going on. I decided that I'm not going to try to flip this. We're going to go ahead and try to buy this thing. So what happened back then is you can see we purchased this property uh, a while back ago. I'm trying to find the notes on it. Yeah, back on the third March of 2013. So we decided to rent this. We rented to that family for probably another year and a half, and when he got back, they moved. Everything worked out. And then we've had two subsequent renters beyond that. And so it really worked out. I mean, like I said, we bought the property for 67,000. I mean, for 79,000. And what we did in this circumstance is we immediately. Now let me find the closing statement. We immediately went and got a loan behind it. So what you can see is we went and got a loan for, call it, $68,000. And it was a little more back then. It was 3 years ago. So it was probably in this, closer to 72 or so $1,000 back then when we first did it. And we decided to rent. We rented for $1,100 a month, and based on our mortgage, we cash flowed this thing probably almost 500 to 600 bucks a month, which was kind of goofy. Almost 600 bucks a month. And in the end, we had to put down. I think we put down 19,000 of our own money, or of investor money, so that we could make this whole thing work. And then, as you can see, we are scheduled to sell this thing finally tomorrow. So we kept it for over 3 years. and we're going to sell it, and our proceeds back to us will be roughly $30,000. So at the end of this deal, for us ponying up $20,000 of our own money out of pocket to keep these renters in there and do an excellent thing for service for people in our country that, you know, that just didn't deserve this thing. We were able to make a substantial profit on it. You know, making $29,000 at the end of our proceeds and having to pay back an investor 19,000, and there's still being 10,000 in profit, is pretty good. I mean, it's over 50% on your money. Now you do that over 3 years, it's still over 15% that you're making a year, which is much better than putting it in the stock market or in your savings account or anything like that. So this one was one that, like I said, we started off where we wanted to just flip it, but circumstances dictated that we could do something different and something that was a win-win for everybody involved.